One of the things that Moe would say more than any other term that he used when he was ball striking was the term effortless. Today I want to talk about how you make your swing effortless. So there's no better feeling knowing that when you wake up in the morning to go play golf, so that you're going to play well. There's no better feeling of hitting good golf shots down the fairway. Years ago, I was frustrated because I lost that. I was confused, I was frustrated, and then I met Moe Norman and learned the single plane swing. And so now I wake up every day and I know I'm going to hit it well, I know I'm going to play well, I know I'm going to have fun. So my mission today is to help as many people as possible wake up every day feeling good that they're going to go out there and play great because of the single plane swing.
Good, Mo, just like that, pal.
Yeah, that feels good. Oh, yeah. Effortless. Very effortless. Oh, yeah. Watch. Yeah.
How'd those feel, Mo?
Great. No effort at all. No effort at all. Just a lot of fluid motion.
Like you're losing a bit of your turn again.
Yeah.
Okay, so here's the thing about Moe, and one of the things that he would talk so often about when you saw him kind of in the moment ball striking, and there's conversations you could have with him. I spent plenty of time hitting golf balls with Moe, asking him how he felt about his swing, what he was going through, and his technique. Obviously, you know, we would stand around watching him hit balls and be, you know, in awe of his ball striking because results were results. I mean, hitting the ball dead straight, out of the same window, the perspective, the trajectories, and all those things were so great. But one of the things that I was always very fascinated by was what Moe called the purity of technique, which was the repeatability of his motion, but also, you know, Moe even talked about the fluidity of the motion, but how that club moved. It was, and Moe would call it effortless because the club was doing the work. And that's what I see in his golf swing is Moe's, obviously everybody kind of looks at his technique, you know, his hands are away from the golf ball, he's on a single plane, his stance is wider than you might see. All the people would see this, people really didn't know what they were looking at, would see these things in Moe's motion. Yes. But what I saw was this incredibly efficient golf club movement. It was moving quickly, it was moving efficiently, it was on plane, it was all these things. And Moe kept saying, my swing is so effortless. So how do we do this? And one of the things that I always see when I'm teaching students is, you know, the very first thing I look for is the movement of the club. I mean, that's what you look for. You see how the club is actually working throughout the motion. And then you kind of step back and say, okay, what do I need to change in the movement of the person to help that club move better? Because the club's what's hitting the ball, right? So that's really the purpose of a golf swing, is to get the club moving in the most efficient manner as possible. So what does that mean? Well, there's a couple things that I want to kind of talk to you about when we talk about efficient club movement. First thing is this, that you've got to have your hands and your body positioned correctly to get the club to move correctly. Grip pressure plays a part of that. How your hands, the rotation of your hands play a part of that. All these things play a huge part in getting that club to move effectively. But here's what I like to see in great club movement. You want to see the club go up to the swing, and you want to see it form an angle. You want to see it, and what you want to see is you want to see the club have some movement to it at the top, because you want to give it some time to then produce speed on the way down. For example, if I stop the club here in my backswing, the club's not going far enough to produce speed. I see this a lot. People have too much grip pressure. Their hands, arms have too much pressure. They don't take the club back very far, and they can't produce speed. And they sit there and say, well, I can't produce any speed. Well, that fluidity is gone because you're not letting your body move in a way to get the club moving efficiently. So one of the things that you see in Moe's golf swing is obviously from his really incredible single plane address is when he takes the club back, you see his trail arm will bend and this club forms this angle. See this leverage angle at the top? Now we can draw that angle with this arm and this club shaft, but it's allowing that club to get some space and some movement so when he comes down, and Mo would call this vertical drop, but you see this club then as he starts transitioning, the club makes this kind of dropping motion. Well, his arm is lagging the club. It's giving that club the weight of the club goes back, and now he can use the club and produce speed in it. This is where I see a lot of people have issues because they're so out of position in their body motion. They're so out of position with their arms and hands, the club can't move efficiently. And so they try to speed things up. They try to rotate their body more. They try to add more rotation. All those things aren't going to help you if your club's out of position. So one of the most important things you can do is have your wrists, arms, and hands work correctly so when you get to the top, the club is in an on-plane efficient position so it has time. And now when it has time, it can then release and produce speed because now the arm and hand are in a position and the wrists are in a position, and we can go through all the different mechanics of that, but they're in a position now to use the club effectively. This thing becomes a very efficient tool. It's heavy, it's weighted. We need to move this thing quickly through the golf ball efficiently. So you hear Mo talk about it, and you hear him say things like, oh, fluidity of motion, purity of technique, effortlessness, because he would say to you, I have less moving parts, right? I have less moving parts. And what he's saying to you is, I move this less, but this gets all the movement. I don't have to work very hard, but this thing's moving very efficiently. So what you get is this very efficient motion, and you get the club moving its most efficient path and speed with the easiest motion of my body, and it's because the hands and arms and club move effectively. And you can see the club's doing the work when I hit the golf ball. And that's the point, and that's how you're going to become a better golfer, is you move more efficiently and get that club doing all the work. Anyway, I hope that helped today. Give me a thumbs up, hit the bell icon for notifications. I'll see you in the next video.